Nathaniel King, a billionaire known for his vast empire, had everything: wealth, power, influence. But one thing still eluded him: a wife with true godly character. He had seen too many women drawn to his riches but lacking the virtues he sought. He wanted a wife who would love him for who he was, not for what he had. One day, as he read Proverbs 19 verse 14, the word struck him deeply. He realized that only God could give him an understanding and virtuous wife. That's when he made a drastic decision. He would disguise himself as a janitor at one of his own companies and search for a woman of true integrity. Nathaniel stood before the mirror, barely recognizing himself. Gone was the polished billionaire in tailored suits. In his place stood a man in faded overalls, worn-out boots, and a cap pulled low over his face. His reflection stared back at him, a test of humility, a leap of faith. He took a deep breath. Was he truly ready for this? Would he find what his heart longed for, or would he only confirm his deepest fears? That evening, he walked into one of his own office buildings, blending into the background as just another worker. The smell of cleaning supplies filled the air, and the hum of conversations drifted through the hallways. No one gave him a second glance. It was a strange feeling, being invisible in a place where people usually bent over backward to impress him. His heart pounded as he mopped the floor near the lobby. Employees walked past, some chatting, others too consumed by their phones to notice him. A few muttered a distracted "excuse me" when they nearly bumped into him, but most didn't acknowledge him at all. One day, Nathaniel accidentally spilled a bucket of water in the hallway. Some employees laughed at him, others sneered. Then, he heard a voice. "Sir, let me help you with that." But Rachel? She grabbed a mop and helped him clean up. Rachel Williams was a young woman who worked at the front desk. Unlike others, she was always kind. She greeted everyone warmly, from guests to janitors, without showing favoritism. Nathaniel turned, startled. A young woman knelt beside him, picking up the bucket. Her eyes were kind, her voice gentle. There was no pity in her expression, only sincerity. Nathaniel swallowed hard as he watched Rachel wring out the mop, her delicate hands working with an ease that spoke of humility rather than obligation. She didn't hesitate, didn't grimace in disgust like the others. Instead, she smiled, a gentle, sincere expression that sent an unfamiliar warmth through his chest. "Thank you," he murmured, surprised by the warmth in his own voice. "Most people wouldn't do what you just did," he said quietly, his voice laced with something even he couldn't quite define. She smiled. Rachel chuckled softly. "It's no problem, I was raised to serve, no matter the task." Her words struck something deep within him. She had no idea that the man she was speaking to owned the very hotel she worked in, that he could change her life with a single decision. And yet, here she was, treating him with dignity when she had nothing to gain. "What's your name?" He hesitated. "Nate," he finally said, shortening his name for the sake of anonymity. "Nice to meet you, Nate. I'm Rachel." Her name lingered in his mind long after she walked away. For the first time in years, hope flickered in his heart. Could she be the one? The next few days, Nathaniel observed her even more. He saw how she patiently assisted guests, even the difficult ones. He noticed how she helped the housekeeping staff when they were overwhelmed, how she stayed late when someone needed an extra hand. But the real test came unexpectedly. One evening, as Nathaniel was mopping near the entrance, he overheard a group of employees whispering about Rachel. "She's too nice. It's fake," one scoffed. "She probably just wants a promotion," another sneered. Nathaniel clenched his jaw, waiting to see how Rachel would react. He expected her to defend herself, to show anger or hurt. But instead, she simply smiled, shook her head, and whispered, "Lord, help me love them anyway." Nathaniel's breath hitched. He had spent his entire life building an empire, using power to command respect. Yet here was this woman, with no wealth or status, winning hearts with nothing but grace. And for the first time, he wondered. The unexpected kindness. As days passed, Nathaniel continued to observe Rachel. Unlike many others, she never complained about her salary, never spoke badly about her co-workers, and was always willing to help. One day, he overheard her praying in the break room.
Lord, I know you have a plan for me. I may not have much, but I want to serve you with all my heart. Keep me from pride, and help me to love others as you love me.
Nathaniel was moved. Later that day, he tested her again. He pretended to be sick while cleaning, hoping to see her reaction. When she noticed him struggling, she didn't hesitate to help. She asked,
Sir, are you okay?
I just feel dizzy.
She quickly ran to get him some water. Nathaniel took the cup of water from Rachel's hands, his fingers trembling slightly, not from sickness, but from the overwhelming realization that she was different. She wasn't like the others. There was no pretense, no hidden agenda in her kindness. She saw a man in need and helped, without hesitation, without questioning whether he was worth her time.
Thank you.
He whispered, his voice hoarse, not just from his act, but from the emotion swelling in his chest. Rachel smiled, concern still evident in her eyes.
You should sit down for a while. I'll cover your area until you feel better.
Nathaniel stared at her.
You do that, even though it's not your job.
Why wouldn't I? If I were sick, wouldn't I want someone to help me?
Her words hit him like a hammer. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It wasn't just something she said, it was how she lived. For the rest of the day, Nathaniel struggled to shake off the impact of what he had seen. He had tested many people in his life, employees, business partners, even friends, but none had ever passed like this. That evening, as the hotel emptied out and the staff prepared for closing, Nathaniel found himself lingering near the front desk, watching Rachel tidy up. Her movements were unhurried, peaceful, as if she truly took joy in her work. He wanted to know more about her.
Miss Rachel.
He called softly. She turned, surprised.
Yes, sir.
Why do you do it? Why are you always so kind when no one is watching?
Rachel blinked, taken aback by the question. Then, slowly, she smiled. Because I know someone is always watching. Nathaniel felt his breath catch. She wasn't doing it for people. She wasn't doing it for recognition. She was doing it for God. And suddenly, for the first time in his life, he feared something he had never feared before. What if he was falling in love? Days passed, and Nathaniel began testing Rachel. One evening, he deliberately dropped an expensive leather wallet near the staff locker room, filled with cash and a blank check. Rachel found it first. Instead of pocketing the money, she immediately reported it to security. She said,
Someone must have lost this. It's too much money to ignore.
Nathaniel watched from the shadows, impressed. Just when he started to trust Rachel, something unexpected happened. One afternoon, Nathaniel overheard Rachel speaking with a coworker named Linda.
You're always so nice to everyone.
Rachel laughed softly and said,
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Whatever you do it unto the Lord. Moreover, we are a representative of our Lord Jesus here on earth.
Nathaniel smiled at her words. But then, Linda lowered her voice.
You know, if you really wanted to, you could probably marry rich. Some of these executives love a sweet girl like you.
Rachel sighed.
That's not my goal, Linda. If I marry, it'll be because of love and faith, not money.
Nathaniel should have felt reassured. But then came a twist. A few days later, Rachel was called into the manager's office. An anonymous email had accused her of stealing money from the front desk. Security footage mysteriously went missing. Witnesses claimed to have seen Rachel near the cash register before it disappeared. Rachel was stunned.
I didn't take anything.
Yet, despite her innocence, she was fired on the spot. Rachel stood frozen in the manager's office, her heart pounding as the words sank in.
You're letting me go?
She whispered, her voice barely above a breath. The manager, Mr. Calloway, sighed, avoiding her gaze.
I don't have a choice, Rachel. The evidence is against you. Missing security footage, witnesses. We can't ignore it.
But I didn't do it.
She protested, her hands trembling.
You know I would never steal.
Nathaniel clenched his fists from where he stood outside the office, listening through the slightly open door. His blood boiled at the injustice. He had spent his life in business, reading people, deciphering motives, and he knew without a doubt, Rachel was innocent. Someone had orchestrated this. Someone had carefully removed the footage, manipulated the so-called witnesses, and poisoned her reputation. But why? Tears welled in Rachel's eyes, but she didn't beg, didn't argue further. She simply took a deep breath, squared her shoulders, and nodded.
God knows the truth. That's all that matters.
She said softly. Nathaniel's heart clenched. How could she accept this so calmly? How could she endure this betrayal with such grace? Linda and a few other employees stood outside, whispering as Rachel gathered her things. Some looked sympathetic. Others seemed satisfied. Nathaniel caught Linda's smirk before she turned away. Was it her? Rachel exited the office, her uniform neatly folded over her arm. As she passed Nathaniel, she smiled faintly.
Take care of yourself, Nate. I'll be praying for you.
He swallowed hard. She was the one losing everything, and yet she was worried about him. As she walked out of the hotel, head held high despite the pain in her eyes, Nathaniel knew one thing with absolute certainty: he couldn't let this go. Someone had taken away Rachel's job, her reputation, and possibly her future. And now, Nathaniel King was going to find out who. Determined to uncover the truth, Nathaniel secretly launched an internal investigation. His team discovered that Linda, Rachel's so-called friend, had framed her out of jealousy. Nathaniel didn't just prove Rachel's innocence, he personally called her and asked her to return to the hotel. But she refused.
I appreciate the offer, but I can't work for a place that doesn't stand for justice.
She said. Nathaniel's respect for her deepened. It was time to reveal everything. Rachel was invited to a grand estate under mysterious circumstances when she arrived. Rachel sat in the grand estate, her heart pounding as she tried to process everything. She found herself face to face with none other than Nathaniel King, the billionaire owner of the hotel. Her eyes widened in shock. Now she was sitting before a billionaire who had disguised himself as a janitor, a man who had been testing her all along. She said,
Mr. King?
Yes, Rachel. But you know me as Nate, the janitor.
Rachel gasped as the truth sank in.
I needed to find someone who loved God first, who had integrity and a heart of gold. You are sweet and wonderful.
She was speechless. Her mind swirled with emotions. Betrayal? No. He had never deceived her cruelly. If anything, he had sought truth. But the weight of his words pressed on her heart.
I want to court you with the perspective of marriage.
She had never imagined such a thing. She finally whispered, still struggling to meet his gaze.
Mr. King. Why me?
Because you were kind when no one was watching. Because you gave without expecting. Because you love God above all else. And because when the world accused you, you didn't fight for yourself, you trusted God to be your defense. Above it all, your heart is the heart that is after God's heart.
A tear slipped down Rachel's cheek. She wiped it quickly, feeling a strange mix of honor and fear. She admitted,
I'm just a woman who loved God.
You see, Rachel, that's exactly why I chose you. Because you don't care about the things most people do. I have met many women who were drawn to my wealth, my power. But you...
He paused, eyes searching hers.
You didn't even want your job back when I proved your innocence. Because justice mattered more to you than security. That is extraordinary.
Rachel's breath hitched. His words felt like an arrow straight to her soul.
Mr. King, I meant what I said. I need time to pray.
Take all the time you need, Rachel. God's plans are never rushed.
Nathaniel gave her a box.
What is this?
It's not what you think. No, it's not a ring. It's a gift. A reminder.
Rachel hesitated before opening the box. Inside, nestled on a velvet cushion, was a delicate golden key. She looked up, confused.
A key to the estate. Not because I expect you to stay. Not because I want to pressure you. But because you belong where honor and virtue are cherished. No matter what your decision is, Rachel, I want you to know your worth is far above rubies. This door will always be open to you.
Thank you, Mr. King.
Months later, Nathaniel and Rachel stood before God, exchanging vows.
I, Nathaniel, take you, Rachel, to be my wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, to love and to cherish, forever according to God's word. In the presence of God I make this vow, forsaking all others, keep myself only unto you, to cherish, honor you, forever as my queen.
Rachel smiled.
And only God could turn a janitor into a king in my heart.
As Nathaniel and Rachel swayed to the soft melody playing in the background, the golden glow of the reception hall bathed them in warmth. Guests watched in admiration, some with tears in their eyes, as the newlyweds shared their first dance as husband and wife. Nathaniel held Rachel close, his hand firm yet gentle on the small of her back. He had spent years surrounded by luxury, wealth, and power, yet nothing had ever felt as precious as the woman in his arms.
Are you happy?
Rachel gazed up at him, her eyes shining like the stars.
I never knew love could feel this pure. I never knew I could be loved like this.
Nathaniel's heart clenched. He had given her his name, his home, and his devotion, but it was God who had written this love story long before either of them knew it. Suddenly, the sound of silverware clinking against glasses rang through the hall, signaling a speech. Nathaniel's best man, his longtime friend, James, stood with a proud smile.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know Nathaniel as a billionaire, a man of power and success. But tonight, we celebrate him as something far greater, a man who found his greatest wealth in love, in faith, and in the woman who stands beside him today.
Applause erupted around the room, and Rachel squeezed Nathaniel's hand.
But let's not forget Rachel, a woman whose heart shines brighter than gold, whose kindness has left an imprint on us all. Nathaniel may have searched the world, but God led him to her, a woman of virtue, a woman of grace.
Rachel blinked back tears as James lifted his glass.
So let us toast to a love that was never built on riches, but on righteousness. To a love that was destined divinely orchestrated, and blessed beyond measure. To Nathaniel and Rachel.
To Nathaniel and Rachel.
Nathaniel lifted Rachel's hand to his lips, pressing a soft kiss to her fingers.
I will spend the rest of my life proving to you that you are my greatest gift.
Rachel's lips trembled with emotion as she whispered back.
And I will spend mine proving that God knew exactly what he was doing when he chose you for me.
As the night continued in celebration, laughter, and love, one thing remained clear: their love story was never about wealth or status. It was about faith, trust, and the unwavering hand of God leading two souls together.